daughter is a beautiful disaster.
Who's to blame
You have made me out to be a monster.
for her daughter's bad behavior?
She stole my car and wrecked it.
I was just like, let's go on a joyride.
You said your mother sees you as what?
A mental illness. She'll make a joke at least once a day.
Her therapist, she's not a licensed therapist.
She was a referral.
From?
My hairdresser.
Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today's going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. This is today's guest, 14-year-old Noelle. But don't let this sweet smile fool you.
As soon as I speak up or do something about a criminal, you choked me. Take that court.
Don't open that closet.
Well, Noelle's mother, Larissa, says her 14-year-old daughter is a beautiful disaster who she cannot control. She says Noelle constantly breaks the rules, brings drugs into the house, and even worse, has stolen her car, backed it straight into a neighbor's mailbox. Now, Noelle's stepfather, Sean, says the chaos in the house has become so unbearable that he packed up and left not once but twice.
Oh, so this is the new rule now? Again. You have made me out to be a monster.
You're an idiot.
My 14-year-old daughter, Noelle, is a beautiful disaster.
It's always my fault.
But she engages in completely self-destructive behaviors.
You're gonna go sit on the floor and cry like a little.
My stepdaughter Noelle is very unruly.
Like the more I have to sit in this house, is the more pissed I'm gonna get.
Has no respect for any type of authority.
Get out of my room.
A home life with Noelle is hell.
I'm done.
So she calls me a psychopath.
Sit there and call me a in front of my clients. On no planet should a child speak to their mother that way.
When Noelle's upset, she loses focus of everything.
We're going to take a break right now.
She can be flailing hands everywhere and scream, run around.
And everyone wants to antagonize me. But as soon as I speak up or do something about a criminal.
I've categorized Noelle's behavior into 3 different categories. The angry monster,
Pictures of me.
Oh, no.
As if you do it to me the last time you ever me.
the sad teddy bear.
I know it's not my fault, but like, it hurts so much whenever she makes it out to me.
Then you got the jokester, trickster.
I made out to be the person.
Things really unraveled about 3 years ago. She started sleepwalking in the middle of the night. She got in my car one day and started banging her head, saying that the voice was telling her to hurt herself. I took her to a therapist and they told me that I had to put her into a mental facility. After that, the patterns of behavior have just gotten worse and worse.
It's not an all-week thing, it's a daily thing.
She took alcohol to school in her coffee. She got caught with Xanax in the bathroom.
Stepping out onto the roof and smoking pot.
There was marijuana in here.
It's weed. It's weed. Genius.
She posted a video of her friend taking her clothes off online. She stole my car and wrecked it.
We took her car and we hit a mailbox. It was the middle of the night. I was just like, let's go on a joyride. What was I thinking?
She got in the passenger side because the videos all show her friend driving, but they were all drinking, and they backed it into a brick mailbox.
Noelle has been in and out of different facilities.
4 or 5 different therapists.
She's changed schools 4 or 5 times.
We've gone through 2 or 3 different psychiatrists.
Disciplining Noelle doesn't work. She has no remorse, no empathy for anything. The only thing that she even cares about is the phone.
My biggest fear is that this is never gonna end.
I'm scared for her. She could end up dead. I could be burying her.
Okay, it's good to meet both of you. You think that she is to the point of being impulsive enough, self-destructive enough that she could wind up really hurting herself or somebody else, right?
I do, yes, sir.
Okay, and your questions are whether or not this is secondary to some mental illness or if she's just obstinate, behavioral, out of control, right? What is your thinking about that? What do you think?
My thinking is black and white, and it's hard to work in gray. And mental illness to me is kind of a gray area for myself. And that's where I want to know. I want to know how much of this is just an unruly teenager, or how much of it stems off of that.
Okay, but is that really an open issue with you, or have you already made up your mind that this is just a spoiled brat teenager? I mean, just let's be honest. I mean, we got to be straight up where we stand.
100% in the beginning, that's exactly what I thought it was.
And you say she started acting out 3 years ago?
Yes, sir. It started about 3 years ago with little stuff that wasn't necessarily behavior stuff.
What else was going on 3 years ago?
Her dad got remarried.
Okay.
And had a baby. That was the biggest thing that happened, but puberty started at around the same time.
Okay, so we have to list that. Possibility, puberty starts about that time. Also, her biological father, about this time, remarries, has a baby. So there's a possibility that she could be saying, well, I've been replaced.
Right.
And you said before this time, she kind of had empathy, compassion for other people. She was much more caring, but that's gone.
Oh, yeah, she has no remorse for anything.
This has had an effect on you.
Yes.
Because haven't you changed in the way you feel and react to her?
Absolutely. I'm 100% numb to her.
So you've kind of checked out.
I won't say I've checked out.
Well, numb's pretty checked out.
Because I'm still there, but I don't react. I don't pop her in the mouth. And whenever she calls me, you know, the word, I don't cry. I don't cry anymore.
Okay.
Whenever she tells me she wishes I was dead, I don't cry anymore.
Okay, so that dynamic has changed.
Yes.
So we have to look at that as well. Because oftentimes, it's called the extinction effect. When somebody does A and gets a reaction, then all of a sudden A doesn't work, then they go to 2A to get a reaction. That doesn't work, they go to 3A, 4A, 5A. It's like, okay, kid throws a tantrum, gets parents' attention, then all of a sudden that doesn't work. Okay, well now I'll have a tantrum and wet my pants. Then that gets her attention. Then, okay, now that doesn't get attention. Okay, I'll start to choke. Now I'll have a tantrum and choke. Okay, now I got their attention. They go, okay, got it. Now I understand I need to have a tantrum and choke.
Right.
That gets their attention. Then if that doesn't work, okay, I'll start banging my head against the wall. Now I understand, now I have to have a tantrum, wet my pants, choke and bang my head against. They just keep raising the price of poker till they get your attention.
Right.
You've stopped reacting.
Yes.
And she's continued to raise the price of poker on her game.
So she does this with her price of poker.
Right.
Yeah, she's not continuing escalating, but she's up and down.
Yeah, but the lows get higher and the highs get higher. Noelle says that she is not the problem. She says she is sick of her mother ignoring her and shipping her off to mental hospitals. Well, let's hear what she has to say after the break.
My mom tries to diagnose me with something called schizoaffective. I don't think I'm schizophrenic.
You think I'm reckless, you think I'm manipulative. You literally do not have a positive thought on me.
This is Noelle's bad girl box that we found cocaine in.
Yeah, I'm 14.
And later,
I don't know who my dad is, nor do I want to.
I have not been there, but I'm here now, and I'll be here for the rest of your life.
He's saying it, but does he mean it?
All of this chaos has had an extreme effect on our marriage.
We don't have to deal with the rest of the problems in the house.
In the last year, Sean and I have separated 3 times.
You just want to be like, sorry that you feel that way.
I bottle stuff up. Last September, that bottle popped and I left.
He didn't really give a reason why.
When I separated from Larissa, one of the girl's friends' mother was having marital issues too, so we started talking. Larissa viewed that as cheating.
I forgive him. His thing is once you forgive, you never talk about it again.
It's hard to know that my mom thinks that I'm destroying her marriage.
now Noelle says she is not the problem in this family, that it in fact is her mother.
My mom tries to make me out to be like the only problem in the family.
Because you think I'm reckless, you think I'm manipulative. You literally do not have a positive thought on me.
Whenever she describes why our family is like so toxic and everything, it's always, my daughter is a horrible teenage girl. I've done drugs, psychedelics, smoked my fair share of pot, used to dabble with like opiates.
So this is Noelle's bad girl box that we found cocaine in.
Yeah, I'm 14. The real problem is the family dynamic. We're all calling each other names.
You coming out and saying that I'm a manipulative little bitch is
I never said that.
But that's what you're trying to infer.
I don't think I'm the biggest problem in the family, but I'm the only one who's getting blamed for it. Sean, my stepdad, have no relationship at all. He has a military background, and so he's really like, beat at all your kids and maybe they'll be better.
When I've smacked her right in the mouth.
I kept screaming at him to get out of my face, and he kept slapping me. My mom likes to threaten me with mental hospitals because she knows that I had such a negative experience in them.
I had one therapist tell us that by looking at her EEG, she should be in an institution for the rest of her life.
My mom tries to diagnose me with something called schizoaffective. I don't think I'm schizophrenic. I don't really drink or party anymore. The only thing I really do on occasion is smoke pot. I like music, I like art, I like meditation. My stones, my crystals, they make me happy. The only time me and my mom ever hang out is if we're on my way to a psychiatrist appointment. My mom sees me as a mental illness. She doesn't see me as a daughter that she wants to love.
Okay, good to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
I didn't understand exactly what you said at the end there. You said your mother sees you as what?
A mental illness.
Oh, as a mental illness. What do you think? Do you think you have a problem?
I'm not gonna say that I'm like 100% normal, but I don't think that it's okay to be so quick to diagnose me whenever there are other problems in the home.
I totally 100% think this is a family dynamic problem. Y'all have to agree with that, right?
Oh,
Absolutely.
I mean, it may not feel like that to her because she's the one that gets pointed at, so it makes you feel like you're the issue.
So happy someone understands that.
Yeah. I want to take a close look at a few what I call outbursts, and then I want you to talk to me about that. Let's take a look at these.
I ask you nicely not to do one thing, not to do one thing, not to do one thing. And you do the one thing that you know will piss me off.
You manipulating the truth is not going to help. You
Okay,
knew
now
he
I'm
wasn't supposed to be in there.
Now I'm manipulative. Cool.
So since we're
I'm
here,
gonna need a break. We're gonna take a break right now because now I'm manipulative and now I'm the bad person again.
You have not started school all week for your birthday. It's not an all-week thing. It's a daily thing.
No,
and you can't say that it's not.
it's not.
It is. Oh, so this is a new rule now? Because it was never articulated to me, so therefore you cannot. All can't stick to agreements, and I'm getting really pissed off about it because I want to do one thing.
Okay, what are you feeling when you're going through that?
It's like restlessness almost. It's like a mix of like anxiety, but like I'm just so mad that I just like, it's almost restlessness, yeah.
Okay, and what's the worst thing you've called either of your parents?
I've called my mom a I've called my mom a bitch. And I know that that's bad, but in the moment she's calling me crazy or she's calling me psycho. And I just, in that moment, I want to say something to her that makes her feel as bad as I do when she calls me crazy.
Do you call her names?
I don't call her names.
She'll make a joke at least once a day about me being crazy or me having a mental illness. Like, it's all funny to her.
How do you do, what is she referring to?
I can't even think of a mentally ill joke. Do I tell people? Yes, when she walks in my place of employment and she's telling them my mom isn't, I'm like, I'm sorry, she's got an illness.
You say you call your therapist, and what kind of therapist is this that you're talking to?
I don't really know what kind of therapist she is.
And you found this person?
Our psychiatrist said we needed to try DBT, which is dialectical behavior therapist, and that's what she is.
She's not a licensed therapist. Where did you find this person?
She was a referral.
From?
It was my hairdresser, and they've used her for years.
All right, coming up, Noelle's father, Jared, says he does love his daughter dearly, but he really hasn't seen her since May. Well, Noelle told producers her father can just burn in hell as far as she's concerned. Well, we'll meet him after the break.
My daughter Noelle is doing things and crying out for help.
You have made me out to be a monster to all of your friends.
My ex-wife Larissa put Noelle in the hospital without my knowledge or consent. I believe 100% that my ex-wife Larissa is keeping Noelle from me.
And later, you have made a bad turn and gone down a road that is not going to turn out well. Stand up right in front of me.
You're not going to whoop me, are you?
My dad is a piece of My dad sent me flowers on my birthday, and I tore them up, I threw them away. I want no relationship. As far as I'm concerned, he could, like, fall off the earth. I have such a resentment towards my dad. My dad has a new family with his wife and his new little baby. My dad says he wants me back. I say...
Well, Larissa wrote to me 3 times asking for my help because she says her 14-year-old is ruining her life. She says she is exhausted from doing everything all on her own because her ex-husband, Jared, is in complete denial that there is something wrong with their daughter. So take a look.
My daughter Noelle is doing things and crying out for help. That's the reason she's acting out so tremendously.
As soon as I speak up or do something to my criminal. How Jesus. You have made me out to be a monster to all of your friends.
I believe 100% without a doubt that my ex-wife Larissa is keeping Noelle from me. My ex-wife Larissa put Noelle in the hospital without my knowledge or consent. I had absolutely no idea until the very next day. Until I see the evidence from a doctor, I will not believe that Noelle has a mental illness. My daughter Noelle needs a father, someone that she can look up to as a role model. She hasn't been to my place since June of 2017. This is a family ranch. As you can see, we're still under a little bit of construction. This around here is all master kitchen. This is actually the girls' bedroom. As a father, it's pretty gut-wrenching to know that if Noelle had the structure and were part of a good church family, Noelle would be just fine.
Well, take a look at the last time Noelle says she saw her father, Jared.
Things came to a boiling point with Noelle at my grandmother's house.
He started the entire altercation.
She just kept ignoring me and kept looking down at her phone. Finally, I had enough.
He was screaming a lot.
And I pulled that phone from her. When I did, it was like stirring up a hornet's nest.
Grabbing me by my arm.
She stood up and started cussing me. I was so furious that I just pushed her down on the bed.
He put his knees on my arms.
You choked me, your knees were over me.
He grabbed my head and did this.
I put my hand over her mouth and I said, "You will not talk to me that way."
Hey, just with me.
Oh, no.
Because if you do it, it'll be the last time you ever see me.
Then he choked me. His middle finger was right here.
And she was just kicking, and in the video, Noelle said,
You choked me. Take that to the court.
I was not choking her. I was holding my hand over her mouth.
I would like an apology, but at the same time, I want to spit in his face.
Okay, now, he's here, and I want to talk to him, and my plan is to put your mother over here and put him over here. Are you okay with him coming out?
It's fine.
Okay, let's bring him out. Jared, Dr. Good to be, sir. You have not seen your daughter for 7 months, right?
Yes, sir.
Why is that?
I don't believe that she wants to see me, as you can clearly tell.
Right.
I was put in a mental hospital for 3 months. Not one call, not one visit, no letter. How hard is it to pick up a phone or pick up a pen? How hard? It's not. Point blank period. It's not. I don't know who my dad is, nor do I want to.
What do you think about what she's saying?
I have not been there. I know I wasn't there. But I'm here now. And I'll be here for the rest of your life. You can't change that,
They're
dear.
clapping like he hasn't said that at least a dozen times before. Like, they're clapping like that's some kind of huge breakthrough, like he hasn't said that before. Like, he hasn't tried to make these huge things. Like, he's saying it, but does he mean it? That's what I mean. Like, he's saying it, but does he actually mean it? Because, you never know with him.
Well, you wrote a letter to him at one point, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you said in the letter, I understand you were going through a nasty divorce and were trying to cut my mom out of your life, but that didn't require cutting me and Michelle out too. I didn't have a father for a long time. I started to lose hope that my father would ever care about me. I started to grow mentally unstable and turned to drugs. I'm sorry that our relationship had to come to me writing this letter. I want you to know there will always be a place in my heart for you. How big it is up to you. Hopefully, if you did decide to start showing up in my life again, we can have a healthy relationship again one day. How did you respond to that letter?
He didn't. Let me help you there.
I didn't respond to her, but I mean, it goes to your heart.
He actually said he actually texted me and accused me of writing the letter. He didn't believe that she had written
The way it was structured, it seemed to me that an adult read it.
Dare she be intelligent?
Did you write the letter?
Every single word.
Well, Noelle says her mother is more involved in her mental illnesses than being involved with her as a person.
About a year ago, I began to see Shannon. She's my life coach, basically my therapist, but honestly, my friend. I can confide in her without her judging me.
I just don't see Shannon as a help. I see her more of a best friend that can help calm Noelle down.
She can talk her down off of a cliff, but it's not solving long-term things.
I can trust Shannon because honestly, I can't trust my mom. I can't trust Sean.
You've had some mental health placements in hospitals. One assessment, April 15th of 17, said, there is a vague report of discipline. It seems that the client's mother utilizes healthcare professionals as a means of intervention for behavioral issues. You read that, right?
I did.
What do you think they're talking about there?
Well, so I only put her in one, and then her therapist referred her to the other one after the stealing of the car. The same person that wrote that is actually the one that referred her to the long-term, the residential facility. She got in my car and she was banging her head on the windows, saying the voices were telling her to hurt herself. So I took her to a therapist, and she told me that if I did not take her that night, that she would turn me into CPS for negligence of a parent, because they were 100% real and she wanted to hurt herself and she'd been cutting. So I took her where I was told to.
And you've missed, so far this year, 26 days of school? Why?
Some days, it's really, really hard to just move. It's,
Oh, I get it.
Yeah, it's hard to get out of bed. It's hard to even go downstairs to get something to eat. And then she wants to tell me that I'm playing the victim card whenever I tell her how depressed I am. And she tells me to tell Shannon about it, or she tells me to do this or do that or go take my medication. But really, if I'm having a panic attack, or if I'm telling you how sad I am or how I actually feel, try a hug. It's mental illness, mental illness, mental illness. It's not like my daughter feels horrible about herself. Let me hug her. It's take your medicine. It's, do you need to go to a hospital? Do you need... It's mental illness before it's me.
And you understand that you can be a little prickly.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, I understand that.
It's kind of like hugging a porcupine sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
She tells me to get off of her all the time. Don't touch me. Get away from me.
If she sends me into a panic attack, then I obviously do not want her to hug me.
Right. That's what I mean. You got to pick your times.
Yeah.
And you got to decide if you want to be right or you want to be happy here. And I have some real clarity that's really shaping up here, which is good news, by the way.
Thank goodness.
Really good news here. Larissa says not only is Noelle wreaking havoc in the home, she's also steering her younger sister down a dangerous path. We're going to talk about that after the break.
I definitely think that Noelle's a bad influence on her little sister, Michelle. The ugly words and the mouthiness.
The disrespect, because she sees her sister get away with it. So why shouldn't I get away with it?
Because Noelle knew that we searched her room, she was keeping her drugs in her sister's closet.
I have found weed. She's searching you.
You've been around the high, haven't you?
Yes.
Yes. That's what I'm worried about. You have a driver's license in a couple years and killing your sister.
You think that I would put my little sister's life in, like, danger?
Noelle's younger sister, Michelle, seems to agree that Noelle isn't really the core problem here. Let's hear from her.
She's left with nobody. She doesn't have a father at the moment. And I'm sorry, Sean, because I know you can hear this right now. No offense, obviously, but you are not much of a father figure. In school, the people there are being so rude to her, and I know because I am the shoulder she cries on, when that really should be her parents, but she doesn't have that.
Joining me is Dr. Charles Sophie. He is on the Dr. Phil Advisory Board. He is board certified in 3 clinical specialties: adult psychiatry, child and adolescent psychiatry, and family practice. He's also the medical director for Department of Child and Family Services here in Los Angeles, which is the largest agency of its kind in the country. So thank you for joining us. I appreciate that. Would you agree that from biological dad, stepdad, mom, daughter, sister, that this is a toxic family dynamic?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've put her in a position where you guys should be lucky she doesn't want to give up on you. She's begging you to love her. Why can't you just love her? Don't you feel that
way? You know, one of the things that I've been interested to find, and it's just been kind of swept, it's just kind of gone through without people noticing it because the focus has been on mental illness by the professionals. There is a notation in your record of cerebral dysrhythmia. Now, cerebral dysrhythmia is a neurological condition that has to do with explosive emotions, explosive rage, low threshold for frustration and irritability, and poor impulse control. This is a subconvulsive disorder. It has nothing to do with psychology or psychiatry. It's a neurological condition that is very treatable.
I don't need a label. I don't need anything but to help make my daughter happy. She is unhappy.
But she wants a hug. That's the big start of it.
Well, here, let me hug her and see if she doesn't hit me.
So what do you do with this information? I'm going to give you my plan right after the break. I 100% believe that your intentions are good. Your methods are bad. Your intentions are good. When you go to physically wrestle a phone away from your daughter, you have made a bad turn and gone down a road that is not going to turn out well for you. Stand up right in front of me.
You're not going to whoop me, are you?
No, turn right here. Come closer. This is kind of the way it looks to her.
Yes, sir.
Okay? And now I'm going to wrestle something from you. That's the way it looks to her.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Now, that doesn't work well. And I know that because I'm a big guy, so you have to be careful that you don't impose. And to go physical with a 14-year-old girl for any reason, not a good decision. So you got to go at this differently. You ask, which is it? Is she mentally ill or just misbehaving? I really don't think that mental illness is a big issue here. Frankly, I really don't. I think what we're dealing with are stress reactions, which make her acutely respond in a way that might mimic a disorder at times. And I think a big frustration here is that we have had neurological disorders that have expressed themselves psychologically. This is very treatable. And then we have to start a new family dynamic, and that means you're going to need to get a coach, a family therapist that comes in and works on the family without everybody pointing their finger at her. Because she is not the problem, she is a symptom of the problem. Right. I will volunteer to bring a hand-picked family therapist in here that will work with everyone involved here. And I want to heal this relationship with your father, and you need to be mature enough to have forgiveness in your heart. And I'm not saying lead with your chin. Take this a step at a time. And actually, Dr. Sophie has agreed to do the initial work with you to get this neurological work underway. It's all non-invasive. No needles, no injection, no dyes, no nothing. Everything from the outside. Yeah. Okay? And we'll get this working. And you're going to see this look a whole lot better in a relatively short period of time. Fair enough?
Yes, sir. Thank
you. Okay. All right.
Good job.
All right. Fair enough. All right. Coming up, you're about to learn some things about me that will be a first. I took a DNA test, and they're going to reveal the results to me live. So stick around. You don't want to miss this next. Well, I'm about to do something I have never done on my show. I'm going to reveal my true self, who I really am. In order to do that, I would like you to meet Yvette Corporan. Now, she is a consultant with a company called MyHeritage. And I've been wanting to do this. I've really been wanting to do this. So I recently used their DNA kit, and I swabbed my cheek, and they started digging into my family heritage. So welcome. I'm really glad that you're here. Now, before you reveal my lineage, Yvette, what exactly did MyHeritage do with my DNA? What do you do with the swab?
MyHeritage DNA is very simple. Take it home DNA test. You take a little swab, you swab your cheek for about 30 seconds, and then you send that off in the mail. It goes to the lab. After a few weeks, you get your results, and you will receive your ethnic breakdown as well as a list of people who share your DNA. Now, because MyHeritage is such a global company, it can actually give you a list of relatives who share your DNA around the world.
Oh, God.
You can find some incredible things. Trust me, it's all good. We found some really fascinating stuff that we're actually going to reveal for you right here today.
Well, I suppose it's time to break it down for me, I think.
Are you ready?
I don't know. Yeah, so, all right, let me have it.
All right, so Dr. Phil, we found that you have 3 distinct ethnicities in 6 different countries.
Really?
Yes. So
so I'm a mutt.
Well, we're all a bit of a mutt, aren't we?
All right, so 3 distinct ethnicities.
And I believe we have a map. Dr. Phil, you are 64.3% Irish, Scottish, and Welsh.
Oh, okay. Well, I knew I was Irish. I knew I had Irish background. So Irish, Scottish, and Welsh. Okay. All right. What else?
Okay. So Dr. Phil, you are 28.4% English as well.
Oh. Now, so somebody swam the channel is what you're telling me.
It's pretty cool. You can actually see where in the world all your family is from. And then we have one last bit for you as well. You are also Iberian, which is Spain and Portugal. And that percentage is 7.3% Spain and Portugal.
Portuguese, huh?
Are you surprised by that?
Oh, hell yes. Yeah, I really am, because I just thought I was Irish.
Right. No, there's a little bit more. It goes back several generations. Now, what's really fascinating, too, is that you get your genetic makeup, but also, Dr. Phil, through your DNA, they were able to match you to over 20,000 people across the world in 64 different countries. So you have lots of cousins who are waiting to meet you.
20,000 people that share
people who share your DNA. And you can use this MyHeritage tool to go back and search not only generations, but there are millions of family trees and also billions, and I said billions with a B, of historical records to really fill in your family history, which is what we've done for you today.
Okay, so did you find anybody I don't know about?
Well, actually, I believe so. We found, actually, there's a really cool photo that I want to show you right now, and we have a photo of your great-great-grandfather on your father's side. His name is Pascal Rice. Isn't that an amazing photo?
Seriously? Now, wait a minute. This is my
That is your great-great-grandfather on your father's side. Now, he was born in 1826, and he actually fought in the Mexican War. Isn't that amazing?
Really?
I believe he was a private in the Mexican War.
Well, he looks a little like me, I guess.
See that?
But his name is Rice.
We will find out how the McGraw name came in, because Pascal had a daughter, and her name was Mary Esther. Mary Esther married a gentleman from Ireland. Remember, we have this Irish DNA, the Irish roots. Married a man from Ireland, and his name was John McGraw.
Right.
They had a son, and his name was Joseph McGraw, and that is your grandfather, Joseph McGraw.
Right, and my dad's name was Joe McGraw, and his father's name was Joe McGraw.
Excellent. We also have a census document to show you of your grandfather. That is from the 1910 census. And your grandfather said that he was a wagon driver in a feed store in the 1910 census. Isn't that amazing?
Seriously,
Yep.
He was a wagon driver?
He was a wagon driver in a feed store, yes. But we actually have more for you. We have a really cool family photo that we want to share with you. And these are the triplets in your family, Lois, Joyce, and Royce McGraw. That is an old high school yearbook photo that we dug up of
Where do they
them.
come up with these names?
Isn't
Lois,
that
Joyce,
amazing?
and Royce.
I mean, those are some triplet names, don't you think? Lois, Joyce, and Royce McGraw.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Now, Royce does start to look like me now.
See?
Yeah. Lois, Joyce, and Royce.
Right.
So, yeah, see, we had triplets, and then my son Jay married a triplet. And my wife Robin is a twin, so when Jay had a baby, we thought it was going to be a litter. Because we had triplets and twins all over our family tree.
In fact, we learned a lot about your family tree, and we also learned that you have a very impressive family tree, because we found out that you are the 11th cousin 3 times removed of President George H.W. Bush.
Really?
Yes. That is an impressive family tree. Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing.
Well, what do you think of me now? Oh, wow.
Well, we're not done, because I have a final parting gift for you from your friends at MyHeritage, Dr. Phil. That is your grandfather, Joseph McGraw's World War I draft registration document.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that amazing? And in this document, you can see it says that he had gray eyes and brown hair, and that he was of medium height and he was of stout build.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, let
now
me
that's
show
a piece of your family legacy.
Yeah. Wow, that is very cool. I appreciate you all doing that.
Of
So
course.
this was for World War
I draft registration. That is from 1917.
World War I draft registration.
Yeah, of your grandfather.
Wow. I didn't know a whole lot about my family going back, so
You do now.
I certainly do now. That is amazing.
Yeah.
I really think everybody should learn about their heritage and where their family originated, because it's part of what makes you, you. And if you want to learn more about where you come from, just do what I did and go to myheritagedna.com and order your kit, register, and swab, and you can learn all about your family. And just for my viewers, if you type in the code Dr. Phil, then you receive free shipping. And for everybody in the audience, MyHeritage has a holiday gift for you. You're all going home with a MyHeritage DNA kit. Okay? When I say this is a gift from MyHeritage, it really is a gift, because I tell you, when you learn this stuff like I did today, really cool to hear this stuff. So I want to thank all of my guests today, and a special thanks to Yvette Corcoran and MyHeritage DNA, also to Dr. Charles Sophie. We'll see you next time.